Stop what you're doing for just a second. Right now, there is a tool being sold online to anyone for less than the cost of a dinner out that could steal your email password, bypass your two-step verification code, and drain your bank account before you ever realize what's wrong. And that's just one of 7 threats I'm covering today. Every business owner and computer user needs to know about. If you use a Windows computer, if you have a backup drive, or if you've ever shopped online, you need to watch this all the way to the end. At least one of these stories directly affects you right now, and I'll tell you exactly what you need to do about it. Here's what's coming up on today's cybersecurity threat rundown. The U.S. government just issued an emergency warning about a Windows vulnerability that is being actively exploited by hackers right now, today. A Windows security update is quietly breaking your backups without warning you. 2 companies you trust with your most personal information were hit by the same hacking group. Can you guess which one? Drop that in the comment section below. And Americans lost over $2 billion last year to one specific type of scam that starts in a place you probably check every single morning. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll have a clear list of what to check on your computer today. Let's start with something that hits close to home, your Facebook or Instagram feed. According to the FTC, the official U.S. government agency that tracks fraud, Americans lost over $2 billion to social media scams in 2025 alone. And experts believe the real number is much higher because most people are too embarrassed to report it. Here's the part that should make you sit up. Nearly 1 in 3 Americans who lost money to a scammer last year was first contacted through social media. Not by email, not by phone call, not through social media. And here's something that even surprised me. More money was lost to scams that started on Facebook than from phone calls, emails, and text messages combined. So what are these people actually doing? The biggest category is investment fraud, over $1 billion in losses on its own. These aren't random messages. These scammers study your post, your likes, your reaction, even your friends list to build a pitch that feels personal, that feels real. Shopping scams are rampant. Romance scams are massive, and nearly 60% of those started on social media. Here's what you need to do right now. Go into your Facebook or Instagram settings and tighten up your privacy. Limit who can see your post and your contact list. If anyone you don't know personally starts talking to you about investments in the conversation, and never, ever, ever let your online contact influence your financial decisions. All right, but if you think that's bad, wait until you hear about what just happened to millions of people who trusted one of America's most recognized security brands. That story is next. You trust ADT with the security of your home, maybe even your business. So you'd expect them to be pretty good at protecting your personal information, right? Wrong. A hacking group called Shiny Hunters, and yes, we talk about them a lot. That's actually what they call themselves, stole the personal data of 5.5 million ADT customers. Names, phone numbers, home addresses, email addresses, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of the Social Security number. That's all you need to verify who you are to your bank. This is at least the 3rd time that ADT has been breached in the last 2 years. Now here's how they did it, and this part matters. They didn't need some sophisticated cyber weapon to pull this off. They called an ADT employee on the phone, pretended to be IT support, and talked them through handing over their login credentials. That's it, one phone call. If you're an ADT customer, watch for a letter from them. They're offering free identity theft protection to customers affected by this. But Shiny Hunters didn't stop there. Medtronic, the medical device company that makes pacemakers, insulin pumps, and other life-critical devices, confirmed that Shiny Hunters accessed their systems and claimed to steal over 900 million patient records. Medtronic says their medical devices and patient safety were not directly impacted. But your personal information in their system, that's a different story. If you've ever been a Medtronic patient, Stay alert for phishing emails that mention Medtronic by name. They'll feel very convincing. And Vimeo, the video platform many businesses use, also confirmed a data breach through a third-party company they work with. The pattern here is hard to ignore. Hackers aren't just going after banks and governments anymore. They're targeting the companies woven into your everyday life, the companies you trust. And next, I want to show you a new criminal tool that is changing the game entirely. It's making it possible for someone with zero technical knowledge to run a professional level attack on an email account. You'll want to hear this one. Imagine hiring an entire team of professional hackers, experts who write convincing fake emails, build fake websites that look exactly like bank websites, and steal your password in real time. Now imagine that same capability is available to anyone on the internet for the price of a software subscription. That's what BluKit is. BluKit is a new criminal tool being sold online, and I'm quoting directly here, phishing as a service. Someone with zero technical knowledge can subscribe to this service and launch a professional-grade attack on any email address they want. Here's what BluKit actually does. It has a built-in AI assistant, one that has no safety guardrails, unlike ChatGPT, that writes personalized, convincing phishing emails automatically. It handles buying fake domain names. It designs fake login pages that look exactly like Microsoft, your bank, or your email provider. But here's the part that should concern you the most. It bypasses two-factor or multi-factor authentication. You know that second code you get on your phone when you log in, the one that's supposed to be your safety net. BluKit gets around it by using a technique called adversary in the middle attack or man in the middle attack. It sits between you and the real website, capturing your session in real time, and the stolen credentials go straight to the hacker's phone via Telegram instantly. What used to require a full team of skilled criminals now takes one person and a monthly subscription fee. Here's your rule going forward. Never click a link in an unsuspected email asking for you to log into anything. In fact, even be wary if you are expecting the email. Don't log into your bank, your email, Microsoft, Amazon, nothing. Always go directly to the website by typing the address yourself. If something feels off, trust that instinct. It probably is. All right, we're about halfway through, and I want to make sure you're keeping up because there's a lot happening this week. So far, social media scams are draining billions from Americans every year. 2 major companies were breached by the same hacking group, and a criminal AI tool just made it easier than ever to steal your passwords and MFA access. We still have to cover a Windows update that may have silently broken your backup as recently as last week, an emergency security warning from the U.S. government about a Windows fault that's being exploited right now, and some good news about some of those criminals actually getting caught. Now, if you're sitting there thinking, I'm not really sure if my systems are protected, that's exactly the right reaction to all of this. This stuff is complicated, and it changes every single week. Protecting your business and your home computer shouldn't be something you have to figure out alone. On April 14th, Microsoft pushed out security updates to millions of Windows 11 computers. The update number is KB5083769. Remember that number. The problem is that this update contained a bug that has silently broken backup software on millions of machines. Here's what's happening in plain English. Windows uses something called the Volume Shadow Copy service to take a snapshot of your data when a backup runs. This update broke that service quietly, no error message, no warning on your screen. Your backup software, whether that's Acronis, Macrium Reflect, Ninja One, and others may be running right on schedule, showing you a green check mark and actually backing up absolutely nothing. Cybersecurity expert Susan Bradley, who holds a distinction of being a Microsoft MVP, flagged this issue publicly and said it clearly. If you haven't verified your backup since April 14th, you need to do it today. Think about what that really means for you. You're running a business. You believe you're protected. But if ransomware hit you tomorrow or your hard drive failed tonight, you may have nothing to restore from. If you're on Windows 11 version 24H2 or 25H2, here's what you need to do. Open your backup software, find the job log for the most recent backup, and confirm it actually completed successfully. Not just that it ran, but that it finished with data. Better yet, test a restoration of your backup and see if it works. If you're not sure how to do that, or you'd rather just have someone else take care of it, that's where a faster PC comes in. Now, here's where things get even more complicated because the U.S. government just issued an emergency order about a flaw in Windows that hackers are actively using right now. And it involves the very same update we just talked about. That story is next. This doesn't happen every day. The U.S. government cybersecurity agency, CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, issued an emergency order directing all federal agencies to immediately patch a specific Windows vulnerability. This flaw is tracked as CVE-2026-32202. You don't need to memorize that code. Just understand what it means. This is a weakness in Windows that is being actively exploited right now, today, by real criminals. Here's the backstory, and it's a little ironic. Earlier this year, Microsoft tried to patch a different vulnerability. In the process of doing that fix, they accidentally left behind a new opening, like patching a hole in your wall and accidentally knocking out a window in the process. Except this time, they didn't realize they knocked out the window. That original flaw? It was being used by a Russian hacking group known as APT-28 or Fancy Bear to attack targets in Ukraine and Europe. And the flaw they accidentally left behind is now being exploited too. CISA gave federal agencies until May 12th to get this patched. Now here's where it gets complicated, and this is the part I want you to really pay attention to. The same April Patch Tuesday update, the one that broke your backups, also contains the fix for this vulnerability, along with the fix for 266 other security flaws, including 2 zero-day exploits that were already being used against Windows users in the wild. So here's your situation. You need to update, but the update may break your backup. This is exactly the kind of situation where having someone professional who is staying on top of the threats and managing your systems makes a real difference. You need someone who knows both problems exist, can apply the update, verify the patch, and then manually confirm your backups are still working correctly. Most business owners shouldn't have to juggle that on their own. Let's close out with some good news before I give you your action list. Here's something that doesn't make the news often enough. Law enforcement is fighting back and they're winning. In Canada, police arrested 3 people who were literally driving around Toronto with physical devices that mimic cell phone towers, pushing fraudulent text messages to every phone within range. Those devices are now off the streets. In Europe, police dismantled a massive network running fake crypto investment scams, shutting down 9 call centers and arresting 276 suspects who had stolen $50 million from victims. 2 men who were pretending to be ransomware negotiators while secretly working with the attackers to squeeze more money out of victims have been sentenced to 4 years in federal prison. Kind of sounds like maybe not enough. And an alleged member of a Chinese cyber espionage group called Silk Typhoon has been extradited to the United States to face charges. The criminals are getting caught. but they're also getting smarter and better funded, which is exactly why your protection today matters more than it ever has. Let's bring this together. This week, Americans are losing billions to social media scams every year. Two major companies you trust were breached by the same hacking group. A criminal AI tool is putting professional phishing attacks in the hands of anyone who was willing to pay for it. A Windows update may have silently broken your backup without warning you, and the U.S. government issued an emergency security warning about a Windows vulnerability being actively exploited right now. Here's your action list. 3 things you can do today. Number 1, tighten your social media privacy settings. And if anyone online, anyone you haven't met in person, starts talking about investments in the conversation, even if it's someone you know, call them up and verify that it's actually them and not a hacker who took over their account. Number 2, never click a link in an unexpected email asking for you to log in anywhere. Type the website address directly into your browser yourself. Number 3, if you're on Windows 11, open your backup software today and check the last job log or run a test restoration to make sure you're able to restore. Make sure that your most recent backups actually completed, not just that the program ran. Now, if you're a business owner and any of this gave you pause, if you're not confident your backups are working, if you haven't tested them or your IT provider hasn't tested them, if you're not sure your Windows updates are being managed correctly, or if you just want someone monitoring your system so you don't have to think about this every week, that's exactly what we do here at A Faster PC. We're a managed services provider right here on Florida's Treasure Coast, Space Coast, and South Florida. We work with business owners, accountants' offices, medical offices, dental offices, attorneys' offices, other professional offices, nonprofits, home office users, and even personal computer users who want their technology handled by someone who actually stays on top of this stuff, knows what they're doing, and can keep their computers safe and backed up so they don't have to. Give us a call today at 772-878-5978 or visit our website, afasterpc.com. While you're on our website, download our free cybersecurity report. It walks you through the most important steps to protect your business or home computer from exactly the kinds of threats we covered today. No technical knowledge required. You can also schedule a free discovery call with me where we can sit down and talk about you and your system and how we can best protect your computers and data from hackers. And it's completely free. Remember, when you have or want to prevent cybersecurity problems, you need a faster PC.